everyone and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Akshita and you are watching Akshita's Recipes. The theme of my channel is to keep it simple, quick yet delicious. So like all my other recipes, today's recipe too is going to be very simple to make, few ingredients, and the end result is going to be really delicious where you're going to want to make it again and again. So let's get started with today's recipe. So friends, let's see today's puff pastry recipe for the chicken puffs. Now here I've taken about 1.5 cup of all-purpose flour or maida, a pinch of salt, about 2 tablespoons of clarified butter or ghee, and about 1/4 cup of water. Now I'm going to take the flour, and to that I'm going to be adding the clarified butter or the ghee, and I'm going to crumble it up till it resembles some breadcrumbs. So ensure that all of the ghee coats the maida or the all-purpose flour really well. I've also added the salt to taste. Now I'm going to add a little water at a time, and we are going to knead this to a very stiff dough. So just about 1/4 cup of water will do. And then just knead this dough for about 2 to 3 minutes till it's nice and smooth. And then we're just going to keep it aside for at least 30 minutes. Now I've taken about 1/2 cup of corn flour and 1/4 cup of clarified butter or ghee, and I'm just going to mix the two of them well together to get a very thick and smooth paste. Now our dough has been sitting for half an hour. I'm just going to divide it into 6 equal pieces and just roll them and keep them aside. Then I'm going to dust my surface and I'm going to roll out one of the pieces or the balls of the dough, keep it aside, then roll a second one. Then I'm going to apply this corn flour and ghee paste all over the second rolled out dough, and I'm going to place the first one on it and keep the two aside. I'm going to repeat this procedure in this way. So I'm going to apply the paste to the one I rolled out, and then I'm going to pick up the one which is as a side, the 2 layers, and place it on this one, and then just roll it and keep it aside. So in this way I'm going to do it with all the rest of the 6 parts. Now when everything is done, I'm going to roll it out, and then I'm going to apply the remaining paste, and then I'm just going to fold it in this manner. Roll it out like this. As thin as possible. And then just fold it in this manner and then keep it aside for about 10 to 15 minutes. You can refrigerate it also for 10 to 15 minutes. Now let's prepare the filling for this chicken puff. Now I had boiled about a cup of chicken. I'm just going to shred it once it is cooled down. So I boiled it for about 5 minutes in some water. Now I've taken a pan, and that I've added 1 tablespoon of butter, to that 1 tablespoon of maida. Then I'm going to add a cup of milk, and I'm going to make a smooth paste. So this is a kind of a white sauce. Then I'm going to flavor it with some salt and about a teaspoon of black pepper powder. And to this I'm going to add my boiled and shredded chicken and mix everything well together. Now I'm going to transfer this mixture to a bowl, and I'm going to refrigerate this for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now after our puff pastry has sat for about 20 minutes aside, as well as the filling, we're ready to make our chicken puffs. So I'm going to roll the dough as thin as possible to about just an inch of thickness, and then I'm going to take a vati and I'm going to cut some round circles like this. And then I'm going to take these molds, just butter them a bit, and then I'm going to put these rounds and press them so that we get this lovely shape of the mold. Now this dough is very elastic and very easy to work with. Now when you're making these circles, ensure that one is for the mold and one is for the covering. Now I'm just going to fill in these with the filling that we made of the chicken. And then we're just going to cover it up with the other part like this and seal it up well. Just remove any extra and you can keep that aside. We can use it for the remaining chicken puffs. And once you've done that, just take a knife and just make a crisscross like this in the center. So this is what I'm going to do with all the rest of them. Now this is a good time to preheat your oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Put them on a tray and I'm just going to brush them with one beaten egg. I'm going to use the entire egg, the white as well as the yolk. I've just beaten it up and I've just used a silicone brush and I've just brushed the top of it. And now I'm just going to put it into my preheated oven and I'm going to bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. Now each oven is different, so just keep an eye on it. And then you'll see that you get these beautiful golden brown chicken puffs all ready. So you can get the tray out and let them cool completely before we demold them. So let them be out for about 10 to 15 minutes till they completely cool and you can actually demold them and handle them easily. And now I can easily demold them after they've completely cooled down, and you can see that even the base has nicely baked and it comes out of the mold so easily because we had buttered the mold and because they're really baked very, very well. So in this way, I've made my lovely chicken puffs. You can fill in any filling of your choice. You can go with a different type of chicken recipe. You can even add some mushroom recipe. You can use vegetables. You can do anything of your choice and make these lovely puffs. Okay friends, so today I'm going to share with you my eggless puff pastry which has no butter in it either. So here I have 1.5 cup of all-purpose flour or maida. We're going to use just a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of clarified butter and 1/4 cup of water. Now I'm just going to empty the flour onto my work surface and I'm going to add a pinch of salt and then I'm going to add the clarified butter or the ghee into the flour, and then with my fingertips I'm just going to let all of the ghee get really into the maida till it starts to resemble breadcrumbs. So this should take you about 3 whole minutes, but do this process. It's very important to get that lovely light puff pastry. And now you can see that it all of the ghee has got into the maida. Now you're just going to add a little water at a time and you're going to knead this into a nice firm yet elastic dough. So it shouldn't be a soggy dough, it shouldn't be a very dry dough. It should be a real soft dough and very, very elastic. So take your time with it and keep kneading it really, really well till it becomes really nice and soft. And then you're just going to set it aside and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now in the meantime, we're going to prepare a mixture of 1/2 cup of corn flour and 1/4 cup of clarified butter or ghee. And you're going to mix this really well using a whisk or a fork till it becomes very light and creamy. So this took me about 5 minutes, but this is also very important. And now I'm going to dust my work surface with some flour and I'm going to roll out the dough and I'm going to cut it up into exactly 6 pieces, 6 portions, and we're going to really knead this well till it forms nice smooth balls. So this is an eggless recipe. It has no butter at all, so it just has clarified butter. So once the balls are ready, again you're going to dust a little bit of flour on your work surface, and you're going to roll out each of these 6 balls into very thin sheets like this, or rotis. And since it's very elastic, it's very easy to work with. It has a different consistency, so roll all of these 6 sheets and just keep them aside. Now I'm going to put a little bit of that corn flour and ghee mixture that we prepared. Rub it all over the sheet really, really well to all of the corners. And then you're going to place one of the other sheet on top of it and just bring it to the same shape. Now you can roll all your sheets out, or like I am doing, I'm rolling, one at a time, and because of the space. And then again, I'm going to add a little more of that corn flour and ghee mixture, spread it out, and then take those 2 sheets, place it on top, and then again roll it till they all come together. So in this way, we're going to repeat the process till we are done with all of the 6 sheets. So now we're done with all of the 6 sheets. So now just put the remaining paste on top of this, on top of the topmost sheet, and then just fold it up like this. And then you're just going to roll it out as flat as possible. That way all the sheets have come together. And then you're just going to roll it out into a big sheet like this as much as you can. And it's so elastic. Once you make this, you'll realize how easy this is to work with. And then start with today's homemade salsa recipe. Now here I have taken about 5 medium-sized tomatoes and I have just brushed them with some olive oil, and now I'm going to roast them on a pan. You can use any pan. Just roast them for about 4 to 5 minutes. Also chop up 5 large tomatoes very fine. Then I'll need 3 large onions very fine. Here I'm using a white onion. You can use the normal red onion. So we're going to roast this till the skin starts getting some black spots on them, because then once the tomatoes cool down, we need to peel off the skin and de-seed them. I'll be showing you the procedure. So roast them well on a low to medium heat, and they should look like this. Then you just have to let them cool down completely, and then we're just going to peel off the skin and then de-seed the tomatoes. Now I'm also going to be roasting about 6 to 7 dried red chilies. And I'm going to put the tomatoes which I have peeled and de-seeded along with a little bit of onion and some the red chilies which are roasted, and a little bit of garlic powder. And a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. Now if you don't have garlic powder, you can just put about 4 whole cloves of garlic, and you have to get into a nice puree like this. So now let's assemble the salsa. Take the tomatoes in a large bowl, the ones which we have chopped very fine. Now to this, we are going to be adding our onion. I like using white onion in the summertime because it has a real cooling effect on the body, and it tastes amazing too. Now give all of this a nice mix, and then we're going to add the paste that we just ground. Mix all of this well. And garlic powder is now easily available in stores, so if you can get your hands on it, it makes work easier. And then we're just going to add a lot of chopped up cilantro, coriander, kothimber on top, and some lemon juice, the juice of half a large lemon. And your salsa is all ready. And you just store this in a clean, dry glass bottle. Keep it in your refrigerator. It has a long shelf life too. Just put it on top of your nachos. Just dress it up with some homemade sauce. Now this homemade sauce is also very healthy. Although it looks like it has cheese in it, it doesn't have cheese in it. So what I have done, I've just taken 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan. I've added 1 whole tablespoon of whole wheat flour and just fried it till the rawness goes away, and then just added 2 tablespoons of milk and mixed everything together. And then just for the color, I've added a pinch of haldi powder. Now if you like, you can add some grated cheese, but I have stayed away from the cheese. And then just mix everything and just put it on top of your nachos and salsa, and you have an amazing dish all ready to eat. So if you like this recipe, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give it a big like, share my recipes. Once you have subscribed, click on the bell so you won't miss out any of the recipes coming. So we're going to do the frosting for this Bolo Sans Rival. Now here I've taken 1 cup of sugar. To that I'm going to add 1/4 cup of water. Now I'm going to start the flame and I'm not going to stir this. I'm just going to let it come to a gentle boil on its own. It takes about half a minute or so. And then I'm just going to swirl the pan and then stir in between for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now we're going to do a water test. I've just taken a bowl of water and I've added a teaspoon of this sugar mixture. Now if you're able to form a ball like this, that means your sugar syrup is ready. You can turn off the heat. Now I'm going to beat 6 egg yolks till they are very light yellow in color for about a minute. Then I'm going to start adding this hot sugar syrup and we're going to keep whisking it. Now the mixture will turn to a very light yellow. Now I'm going to start adding the butter, about 1.5 cup of butter, but a little at a time. Now keep your butter at room temperature. It makes the process easier. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. I just changed the pan because it was very small. And our frosting is ready. It has to be nice and thick. Now we're going to move on to the meringue. For that, I've taken 6 egg yolks and I'm going to beat them for about 2 to 3 minutes till they become nice and foamy. Then I'm going to start adding my powdered sugar. In total, I'm using about 2 cups of powdered sugar, a little at a time. Now you've got to whisk this really well till we get a nice thick mixture. So this took me exactly 3 minutes, whisking the sugar and the butter together to get a nice thick mixture. Now you'll see that the mixture has thickened like this. So now I'm going to add 1.5 cup of cashew nut powder. You can also use almond powder. All I've done is just taken the cashew nuts and just blended them in my mixer on a blitz function to get a very fine powder. Now we're just going to mix all of this together. Now here I've taken a baking sheet and I've just lined my baking tray with it and I've just drawn 4 circles of 5 inches each. I'm using a piping bag. I'm just filling this meringue into the circles. Now you can also, just roughly eyeball it. If you don't want to use a piping bag, just go with the spoon and, just fill the circles like this. Now preheat your oven to 160 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes and then bake this at 160 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes till your meringues are nice and done. And you'll get these kind of, meringues. And they're just very light and airy like this. And now we're going to assemble our lovely Bolo Sans Rival. Now first I'm taking the meringue, I'm placing it on the base of the plate. On the plate I'm going to then put in the frosting. Now you could add some finely chopped cashew nuts also, and then I'm just going to repeat the process like this with all the 4 meringues. Now I have my cake stand, below the plate, so that makes it a little bit easier. And then just apply some of the frosting at the sides and just even it out. And then I'm just going to decorate it with some cashew nuts. You can also use cherries, which is the traditional way of decorating it. And then I just have these almond slivers or just shaved almonds. I'm just going to add that just to make it look nice and pretty. And you have to refrigerate this. It is a cold dessert. And, when you slice it up, you will just see the lovely layers, and it's really, really delicious. I hope you give this recipe a try. So friends, let's see what ingredients we require for both making the sugar syrup as well as the gulab jamun. So here I'm taking about 1 cup of sugar. This is for making the sugar syrup, also called the pak. And I'm going to be using half a cup of water. Now I also am going to be using 5 or 6 elaichis or cardamoms, which I have peeled, and then I have just crushed them using a mortar and pestle into a very fine powder. You can also buy the store-bought elaichi powder. Now we're going to add the sugar to the water in a vessel, and we are going to simmer it for about 15 to 20 minutes or till the sugar starts dissolving in the water and becomes into a thick syrup. Now for some lovely color, we're going to add some saffron strands. You can also use some saffron syrup and let it boil for some time so you get this lovely color to the sugar syrup. And then we're going to add the elaichi powder or the cardamom powder, give it a mix, and then simmer again for about 5 minutes more or a minute more. Now we're going to make the gulab jams. For that I'm using half a cup of milk powder. Then we're going to be using 1 tablespoon of maida or all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of very fine rava or semolina, 2.5 tablespoons of milk. You can have some warm milk, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or lime juice, and 1 tablespoon of clarified butter or ghee. So let's start making these lovely gulab jamuns. So now in a plate, I'm going to be adding the milk powder. To that, I'm going to be adding the maida or the all-purpose flour, as well as the rava or the semolina. We're going to give all of this a mix and add the ghee too. Now I like to warm the ghee a little. Then we're going to add the juice of about 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. We're also going to add the milk. Now I warmed the milk to a little bit, not hot, but just a little warm. And we're going to mix everything well together. And then we have to knead this into a soft dough. It's very easy to knead, and since the milk and the ghee or clarified butter is a little bit warm, it you're able to knead it really fast. Now I've added a few drops of ghee so that I get a nice smooth texture to my dough, and it's easier to knead too. Now I've used the very fine rava or semolina. It's easier to work with. And once we have nicely kneaded the dough, we're going to cover it and keep it for about 10 to 15 minutes. I've also transferred the sugar syrup into a bowl. Now after 10 to 15 minutes, our dough is all ready to use. I'm going to be putting a few drops of ghee on my hands, and that makes it easier to roll these small little balls. So try to make them even size so that they all look the same. And the dough is so easy to work with. So just make them into little tiny even sized balls. And now, after making the gulab jams, it's time to deep fry them. So I've taken about 4 to 5 tablespoons of oil, heated it up, and we're going to fry just about 5 or 6 at a time. And keep an eye on it and continuously keep moving the gulab jams around and let them get evenly browned. Let them become nice and golden brown in color. They really turn golden brown very, very quickly, so you have to work with it very fast and don't leave it unattended. Otherwise, they will burn. And keep your sugar syrup ready. So the minute they turn into this beautiful gulab jam color, just drop them directly into your sugar syrup. And don't overcrowd your pan. Just keep about 5 to 6 minimum and just keep stirring them around very gently. And you'll see that they nicely puff up a bit and they become into these beautiful, crispy, little golden balls. So here they're all ready. I got about 15 to 16 of these gulab jamuns with the quantity I used. And now just evenly coat them with the lovely sugar syrup. And you can serve them either hot or refrigerate them for an hour or so and serve them chill. Anyway, they taste really, really delicious.
Please do give this video a big like. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Please hit the bell icon for updates. Visit my channel for more than 140 recipes. And thanks for watching. Bye. See you in another video.